Okay. so, so there's a bunch of things to do. Voicemail. Voicemail. Okay. So we've got, as people have seen from previous streams, we've got a thing that plays these voiceovers in various conditions, and they have subtitles that we put on the screen. Now, what we want to do is use these in levels that have multiple characters. We want to be able to display something to indicate what character is speaking, which, you know, with real voice acting, you would know by the actor and stuff, but you still, it looks and feels good and less disconnected to visually connect the speaking with the character. And I was going to do that for now in a relatively heavy-handed way, like drawing an icon over the thing. And so there needs to be a few things to do that. There needs to be a way to ask from the current playing subtitles who is speaking. But we don't want to have to specify that for all the subtitles that are made for single character levels, of which there are a lot, right? So it'll be like, if there's no speaking designator, we just look up whoever is the character and we draw something on that character, right? If there is a speaking designator, we find the specified character. And we draw something over them when their subtitle is playing. So that means not only in the subtitles file do we need to specify who's speaking, but then, you know, in the playing subtitle during gameplay, we need to retain that information. Can there be situations with characters speaking at the same time? Yeah, probably. We're not going to worry about that super much yet, but nothing that we're going to do is going to make that not possible, except, you know, except by way of maybe minor implementation details that we don't want to worry about. Okay. So I'm going to take out my no check-in. So here's like, you know, the ones that we've actually recorded have timestamps and stuff. We don't have that yet because there's no file for this. We'll make a file for this, but not until we've actually got the implementation background to make that work. I'm going to send a quick email for something I forgot about. Okay. Cool. Cool. All right. Why not always specify who's speaking? Because that's annoying. Because somebody has to type that in. like why if you don't have to? Okay. That's for the writer person. I mean, it's practical realities of making video games. Making video games is difficult and there's a lot of work to do. And if you set things up to make yourself do more work than is necessary, you're going to have a harder time making your game. That just applies to every category of game development all the time. Okay. Okay. So we've got this file. Oops. Wrong window focus. We've got this file. And we've got a bunch of things. Now, so the way that we know right now if a subtitle is playing is we just play the sound entity. And so we could put a speaker field on the sound. Let's just do this. So speaker bard, druid, sailor, promised guy. I'm already missing someone. Whatever. We'll fill these out. These are the tags that go on playing sounds to indicate the speaker. These are the names of the speaker. These are the names that can be used in the .subtitles file specifying. Now, you could just run a thing where we convert all these to lowercase, but I don't love that because it creates a tie between the names of these and the data in a file, which means you can't change these names necessarily. It's sort of like coupling that's a little bit too tight. Oh, sorry guys. Yeah, that was a good way to start. Look, we're just working on your imagination brain, all right? We're working on you need to know from what we're saying how things would look, right? So we're working on that. Okay. Cool. Now, when we parse the subtitles, we're going to have a speaker. And that's going to default to none. But when we parse this file, okay. Name to event. Oh, man. I don't want this. So this is a weird thing where the parsing of the file overlaps. Like plus means like an event. So do I make some other syntax for who's speaking? You know what? No, we can still use this because yeah, okay. So in the event type, so we have the name of the character coming after. And we're just going to do this same thing. Speaker. And then we're going to say let's capitalize this. Why not? We're going to array find in speaker names label. I think I'd remember my own array functions. To bool, yeah. Actually, here we don't. We could continue these, I think. Okay, so now we need to look up what is the current what is the current section? It is called current section. So if that doesn't exist, outside of a section, okay. Otherwise, we certainly can, and we'll say current section dot speaker like that. Cannot designate a speaker for a given section more than once. The previous value was whatever, comma. See, anything you can do like this to anticipate common problems that will happen. Like technically you could put speaker in twice and we parse the file fine, but it's a mistake people will make, and then tracking it down will take longer. So you just find that stuff, right? Okay. So now, in theory, we could actually parse this file without generating errors from the subtitle section. Hold on. Oh, we don't want the current. We don't want the current section. Necessary. We want the instant. The instant is like. Okay, so for now, I'm going to say on each particular instant, you have to say who the speaker is. If you specify one. And then we'll worry about it later. So we don't, like this section is like a bunch of these little pages of subtitles, right? So we want the most recent one. I don't really know if we keep that. No, we don't. Well, yeah, okay. We're going to do this. So if we don't have any instance, Hmm. Okay. I might not like having to do this. I might want to put it first, but we'll get it working and then we'll see how it is. Okay? So then we get the most recent, and then forgive an instant more than once. Oh, I didn't change that. Okay, great. Now, I already said we can't frickin'... So I've got to put in some dummy timestamps for these. We'll fill those out for real. So, yeah, maybe that's annoying. Maybe it's not. Maybe if you say speaking and there isn't an instant, we should just make one and give it a dummy timestamp because that helps with rough drafting. But then maybe that's bad because in the final thing, it's an error that people would make. Like it's kind of a judgment call. Kind of a judgment call. Okay. Okay, now let's start the game. We'll just make sure we can load the subtitles file without errors. I mean, we've got other errors that are not a concern right now. We can go to the log. Just so we can make sure we didn't miss something. Okay, we have started. And line 230. Oh, speaking. I said speaking. Should I say speaker or speaking? I mean, it's weird because I called the variable speaker and you want things to be named the same, but my impulse was to say speaking. And that's like actually worth something. Like it's worth paying attention. Yeah, we're going to change that part. So it seems like a bad decision for some metrics of talking about these things or of gauging things. So where were we? We were in there. We're going to call it speaking, but not misspelled. What is the key to non-annoying voiceovers? I mean, everything. Is the writing good? Is the acting good? is what's being said, well, this is another way of asking if the writing's good, is what's being said necessary or useful? Is the voiceover assuming you're a fucking idiot or that you're 3 years old, which is what most games do? Does it tonally support what the rest of the game is doing, or is it like counter to what the rest of the game is doing, right? All these things matter. Okay. So we're looking in the log again. .264, 267. Unable to find. Okay, that's a different thing. So I guess I already wanted timestamps. I think that's a decision that I made already for various reasons. So we're going to run one more time and make sure that we're error clean on subtitles. Treating the player as an idiot is a staple of modern JRPGs. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I can't play those games. But the thing is, you train an audience, or we have generationally trained an audience to expect that and think it's good and to look for that and value that. So then if you make one of these games and it doesn't treat them that way, they get upset. Okay. So there's no, I'm searching for the string subtitles and it is not in there. So we are not complaining about any of this. So now here I'm going to say the speaker I'm going to find a new place. If this is a spoken line with a specified character, if this is .none, it could still be a character, but it's unambiguous since there is only supposed to be one in the level. So for purposes of ease, we don't specify in the... Okay. So this is version 4. There might be a better place to put this in the long term, but right now we don't really maintain world state aside from this issued sound entity when one of these lines is playing. And so this is where I'm going to put it right now. Okay. So If you want to succeed in the video game industry, you have to eat an entire bag of peanut butter M&Ms every day. That is not a sufficient condition for success, but it might be necessary. Okay, so we have the speaker on there, and now we can say, we can make a function that says get the current speaker. And we can hook that up. And then we can start making some visuals separately from this. And we can hook that up. And then we can put them together. And we can record one of these things that has multi-character. Well, we can just draw for single character. We can just draw. Or like we can draw whatever our speaking indicator is going to be. We can draw it as if everybody's speaking when the thing is going, I guess. We're just going to be writing the code. Like pre-planning, not really necessary. Okay, so what we're going to do to draw this thing is we're going to say for all currently playing subtitles, what's the speaker field? If it's none, there had better be only one character in the level. And we pick that character. If it's not none, then we had better be able to find that character. And then we find that character, and then we draw a thing on their head that they're speaking. Right? Okay, so we're going to do something like down here at the end of draw story, we're going to be like draw character. What is it called? The little speech bubbles. I don't know. We're going to do a lame kind of speech bubble for now. We don't care. We want some indicator that people are speaking. All right. So find all issued sounds that oh, you know what? Maybe we should just put the entity ID of the character instead of, we should resolve that earlier, and that way we just know what it is. That way we can just do all that stuff here. Because we get the section, we get the instance. Oh, but the instants have different. Right. Okay, we're going to have to update this. Okay, we're going to factor this a different way. We're not going to store it on the sound, actually. What we're going to do is every frame, we're going to update who is currently speaking. Okay, hold on. Get rid of this. Rewind. Press the back in time potion. All right. Okay. So when we draw the subtitles is what we kind of want to hook into. That's in HUD. Get instant. Okay. Okay. I'm realizing now that I actually want, like for the overworld, we have subtitles that come up that I don't want to specify because it's like a narrator. You know, we'll hard code that for now. Okay. Because we're going to change it all around later. So we get the instant and the section. And we say, which character corresponds to this instant speaker? So this is like a guy. If we have a speaker, then aha! Get character from speaker. Else log error. Subtitles, whatever. Time, whatever. So the instant, how do we identify the instant in the error message? It's got a time begin. No speaker was specified, so we'd like to default, but there are guy entities in the level. So we don't know which is speaking, whom is speaking, which guy entity is speaking. So name instant.begin time manager by type.guy.count. Okay. What happens here? Well, we say speaking is just the first one. All right, so we need to write this function, getting the character from the speaker. It's kind of a like, I don't know for the alt characters, I don't know if we have a good way of specifying them. We don't have any dialogue for the alt characters yet. Okay. Complete. So we're going to do all these. We'll go ahead and do this. Okay. Somehow we got speaker none in get character from speaker. You know, we could actually do that here. No. Which should not happen. Okay, so cool. Cool. So now for all these other characters, we're just gonna so we're just going to go by frickin' mesh name. Or we could go by Oh, we have mesh names for all the alts. That's how. Okay, so never mind. I thought they were just color swaps, but they're literally, um, yeah, we can go by mesh name. Oh yeah. And I could instead be setting like a target name or something so that we don't have so many if statements. But I'm just leaving open the option that we might have some weird logic in there. I don't know. Okay, so thief, bard, I'm looking at this field down here, right? Druid, yeah, it's all the obvious things. Is priest called priest? That one's a weird one. Cleric. Bard. Druid. Sailor. Castaway. We need... Promised guy. Where is he there? Moon Man. That's funny. Do we have an actual wizard alt? Yeah. Okay. So that's great. So now, you know, maybe we should just say target name equals whatever. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to do that. I changed my mind. Oops. I changed my mind. If we want more extensive logic, we can just change it for that case. Cool. What if you later want to add more character like you're telling me how to make a video game. You're telling me how to make a video game. I would be happy to learn by playing your video game that you have made. And being impressed by the incredible things that it does. Pitfall. I actually liked Pitfall 2 a lot. Pitfall 2 was dope. Okay, so we are supposedly getting character from speaker. So, well, I feel like I'm not getting the mesh name quite correctly. Not all control paths return a value. Oh, yes, let's do that. Instant begin time. It's not a member, really. Time begin. Ah, why didn't my AI GitHub remix technology just fix that for me? Why do I, the lowly programmer, have to do it? Unfortunately, it takes... Yeah, everyone has excuses, bro. Everyone has excuses why their award-winning best game in the universe, it just hasn't been made yet. Okay. Do I plan to give away some keys sometime? Maybe sometime. Not this week, but maybe sometime. Okay, so I was just spacing, thinking about things. This might be a sign that I should get some Golden Monkey hot, delicious tea. Let's just see, though. Oh, you know what? Here's what I want to do. We print out things on errors. But I want to print out on success. So this will be our first official, like, indicator that we know who's frickin' speaking.
Free. Fine.
Okay, we didn't say, oh, are we even calling this? Hold on. Draw character speech bubbles. We should be calling that. I mean, okay, so maybe we run the debugger and say, like, why do we have so many debuggers, first of all? Let's do LLVM build just for consistency. Making sure we succeeded. Okay. There's breakpoints in here that I don't want, I'm sure. Oh my gosh. Let's get rid of all those. We're going to go into story. Wait, we want to go to here.
I'm free.
Wait, really? Okay, we'll set the breakpoint at the beginning of draw character speech bubbles. Maybe we're...
I'm free.
Wait, I thought we're calling it. Oh, we must be early outing here. Oh, this isn't the right function. This is not the right function. Has it had the effectivity boost I envisioned? Yes. I'm much faster in this language than I was in C++, and much happier. I should here. Let's.
I'm free.
There we go.
Finally.
So for at least a single character case, I mean, it's stupid because there's only one guy, but there we go.
Way too long. It's getting fun with all these biscuits.
Okay. I'm not sure. You don't need to hear the audio from the game. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Yes, I'm going to take a tea break now. We've been doing stuff that's pretty simple. I'm going to go heat the water up. If there are any questions about what we've been doing, now would be a good time. It has been kind of straightforward, but you never know what people are going to want to know. And next, I guess the next step is to record a multi-character thing. Oh, I could actually, before that, I could go into one of the single character dialogues and test setting the speaker to the right guy and then setting it to the wrong guy. Yes, we need to make the authentic video game experience like Fish Fillets 2, where every time the characters make a funny quip, the gameplay stops. That is exactly what we are going for. Am I forced to make significant personal sacrifices toward the end of development for making sure the game ships? I mean, my whole life is a significant personal sacrifice. What do you mean? What do you mean? You know what's not a significant personal sacrifice, though? Golden Monkey Tea. Look at this. This was full. Well, I don't know what happened to the camera. It's almost like I clicked the wrong thing. So, how much do you steer what you want the game to say versus let it say what it wants to? I mean, I've given many 1 hour lectures on that topic, so I don't know that I can give a short answer here. Okay. So, I don't think I hotload the subtitles file for some reason. Maybe we do, but I'm going to go in here into Heroes. So I'm just going to say speaking warrior here, and we're going to see if that works. It should still find him via the other code path. If it doesn't, we need to fix that. And if that works, I'll say speaking thief.
I'm free.
Hey, it found him.
Finally.
That's great. So I'll restart the game because I'm not sure if it hot loads, and I don't want to think about it right now. We're just going to do that. And now it should give us an error that we cannot find this character. Note that we don't throw an exception. We report an error that will be maximally helpful. We have to restart the level.
I'm free.
Oh. Wait, what? Okay, that's not good. Anyway, I was about to say we report an error that is maximally helpful to tracking down the problem. But we don't even do that because I think somehow we're not storing this value correctly or something. So my suspicion is, oh, you know what? No. When we loaded this, we got the error that it wasn't inside a thing because I put it in the wrong place. Watch, we'll find it. Yep. Cannot designate a speaker until starting an instant by using, yeah. Okay, so that's what I did wrong there. So really it's there. You do the timestamp and then you say who's speaking.
I'm free.
Yeah. Get character for speaker, return null for thief, which means probably that character type is not in the level. Okay. That's exactly what we want, except not the typo. So that's great. We also probably shouldn't spam it like that, but I'm not that worried about it yet. Okay, so this all appears to work. So we can record a multi-character scenario. And while we're recording, you can see my bad acting. And I can also I want to rewrite this one, even though it has nothing to do with any of these. So I'm going to re-record this one, and then I'm going to do these multiple character ones. Why am I re-recording this one? Because I just had the idea, like I never liked this line. These are all totally temporary, right? But I'm sort of just figuring out what this could be like. And part of figuring out what it could be like is figuring out what makes it good, because that helps you know what you're trying to do when you go to do the final real thing, right? And this one I didn't like, which means it wasn't somehow exemplifying what I think is good. And then I figured out a way to change the line that may seem somewhat subtle to most people that I think makes it work better and makes it sound less like what's the deal with airplane food, which is what I think of every time I see this line. I think he's saying, what's the deal with airplane food? Okay. What is the deal with airplane food, by the way? So instead of saying what is going on with all these crystals, just keep it short. Never seen so many. I've never seen so many crystals. Well, they're heavy at least. There we go. That's a much better line for this character. And you know, we're just iterating. We're figuring it out. These crystals are whack. What is the deal with cat food? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to make a new recording in fabulous professional recording studio tool Goldwave. And because these are multiple character things, and it's just me, and I'm not a multi-voice voice actor, I guess we're going to try doing a little bit of DSP to change them, and that's going to be kind of horrible. Let me change. I'll turn on PC audio so that when we play this back and stuff, you could actually hear it. Yeah. TTS not an option. TTS is so bad. Like, that's the mystery, is why nobody's done a much better TTS with all the AI stuff that we have. Okay, is the tea ready? And I'm going to give it a little swish swish. Brian is pretty good. Even Brian is like from 3 or 4 years ago, dude. Isn't there like a better Brian by now? Okay. Now, we got to put the lotion or the tea in the basket. Or the honey, I mean. Oh, so much honey. We got to put the honey in the basket. And then we put a little bit of milk in. A little more. All right. All right. Now. All right, bad video game voice acting, commence. I'm gonna make a new track. Why did we make stereo? I don't know. Let me read over. Let me bump this one up. This is also single character. It's just, we didn't have any for the thief at all. And so I'm just adding a couple. before we go into the multi with those, we don't really have any singles for the war. Okay, while we're looking at it, let me go look at, for the wizard, we'll have some things for the wizard to say. You'd use Audacity for this? I've never used Audacity, or I've tried to, and it was terrible. Finally. I'm using tools that I know how to use that are not going to get in my way. Trying to think about what I want the dude to say in these cases. I don't really know. I'm not having good ideas. I'm just going to leave him blank for now. Did I buy enough sun chips? There are no CDs in this world. Okay, free. Finally. We'll just do what we have here. It'll be enough for now. Because the goal of this stream is just to implement the multi-character stuff. And we're just doing a little bit of single to help fill it out a little bit. I've never seen so many crystals. Well, they're heavy at least, and that feels good. That cage was just a bit cramped. These crystals are so shiny. I love them. Ho, Tiff, what brings you this way? Same as you, I gather. Hecka yeah, let's get it done. It appears we're on the same team this time. Hecka yeah, hecka yeah. Hecka yeah. Hecka, I mean, sure, okay. All right. There we go. My professional voice acting career is now assured. I will send this in. This is my reel that I will send in. New Dota 2 announcer just dropped. Okay, so all we are doing is just getting a file that we can put, again, technically in the game to demonstrate that this functionality is working, well, it's two things. One is to make sure the functionality is working, and the other one is just to give playtesters an idea of what's going on eventually when there actually is a story, right? Okay. So we can do several things now. We can actually set the timestamps in these. And I'm going to try doing a little bit of DSP on them. This might be horrible. They're heavy at least, and that feels good. That cage was just a bit cramped. All right, so for here, I'm going to try a pitch shift. Because like a very low-hanging fruit thing to do for 2 or 3 characters is like pitch one of them up. And I, not being a video game voice actor, did not even want to try doing a weird artificial high-pitched voice because it's going to be horrible. Let's just see. And again, if we were using a higher-end, more professional program, it probably would do something better here.
That cage was just a bit cramped. These crystals are so shiny. I love them.
I mean, that's actually better than I expected.
That cage was just a bit cramped. These crystals are so shiny. I love them.
Okay, so 115. We're pitching Thief up to 115. I don't know what to do about Wizard, but... Oh, Tiff, what brings you this way? All right, so 115. Free pitch 115.
Same as you, I gather.
All right, and then here's we're on the same team this time. Hecka yeah. Pitch 115. Okay, and then we have one more. Hecka yeah. Hecka. Okay. This is too loud. I mean, yeah. Let's go 115. Because I want to normalize the whole file. Oof, I mean this. Yeah, we'll take a look at that too. But we also don't. Fucking vet decibels, dude. I hate fucking decibels.
Hecka yeah.
All right. Whoa, wait. I said minus. Is this like some absolute decibels bullshit? Oh my god. Volume. Let's do volume. Change volume. This is going to be better.
Hecka yeah.
Okay, so all right. So we maximize the whole file. It's not that much loud. Okay, so the thing is, we need to normalize this relative to the rest of the game, and there's like a little. What?
Hecka yeah.
This is one of these like I don't want to figure that out. Dude, I forget which one. It wasn't loudness. Loudness was the one that sucks for some reason. I don't understand why this is like an asymmetric waveform. That might be something weird about the pitch shifting. Why doesn't it leave the window up? God. It's like, this is why you want a better program. What the, I picked volume instead of, wait. I don't fucking know. All right, that's fine. Okay. So the things is these are not totally normalized relative to everything else. So we're going to have to go through later. And, you know, there's going to have to be some feature where we specify actual volume per each of these. Sure. But the audio guys are probably going to take care of that. There we go. So this is all stuff to cut off. All right. So now I can set timestamps. All right, so we could start this one here. It's 0.589. And this is going to be MISC 27 July 2022 A. We might do another one later tonight. So all of these, we're going to say they're in this particular file. Okay. So, timestamp 0.589, and then I've never seen so many crystals. Well, they're heavy at least, and that feels good. So, to 7 point, call it 7.2. The first 8.97.
That cage was just a bit cramped.
11.3. 11.9.
These crystals are so shiny. I love them.
14.5. Okay. So this is how Hollywood does it. I mean, when I did The Witness, we did it in the Warner Bros. Recording studios. So I've seen how Hollywood does it, and it's not that different. I mean, it is different in certain ways, for sure. But like, at the root, this is all that's happening. Oh, Tiff, what brings you this way? 21.0.
Same as you, I gather.
22.7. Okay, yeah, let's get it done. It appears we're on the same... This line, it starts out too quiet, but we're just going to leave it. 29.15. Oh, I didn't mark the end of the previous one. Hold on. Uh, 24.5. 29.15. And also the part that I'm doing right now is not a Hollywood part, right? We're doing the engine part. Wait, that's the wrong. We actually want 27.74. 29.1310. There's also a question when we switch between characters, do we want the visual to be early or late, or like that's a whole about how you direct people's attention around the scene is a whole thing. Wait, that's the end marker for this one. Here's we're on the same team this time. Let me just 32.55. Wait, what's going on? I'm reading. Hold on. No, okay. Wait. Is that really? It appears we're on the same team this time. What the fuck? This says 30. Okay. Dude, I don't know what number I'm looking at when. This is, okay, 30.4. This is very confusing, the way that there's just this cursor, and I would design this differently. Like I know what the difference is between these, but it's very easy to look at the wrong one. Okay, 30.4. Actually, Becca, yeah. 31.6 and 32. Okay, those numbers make sense. Okay, Thief and Druid 1. 30.4. Wait, I'm looking at the wrong number again. 38.45.
Hecka yeah.
39.5. 40.4. Hecka. I mean, sure. Okay. 44.3. Okay. Ship it. Ship it. I have an extra equal. Oh. You're right. That would produce an error. We don't want that. Okay, so now we could actually test these, except we need to put them in the levels. Oh, I also need to save this frickin' file, by the way. And put it in source control. I'm going to make it an OGG file because we do not care about the quality of any of this. So we don't need to save an uncompressed version. And we're going to call it that. Okay. Sound catalog is upset that it saw a partial file. Okay, so we put that in. Now, what do we do? We put them in the levels, like I was saying. Okay, so here, the way that we say a starting bark on the character. So I added thief first and thief second. What is... So this is thief first. This is Thief second. Now, what's weird is I put this on the characters, but it doesn't. It's not actually the way we play it. It switches characters, so that's already kind of odd. So we might change where it's stored later, but for now, I'm just gonna put it on whoever starts speaking, because it's annoying. Like if you had to set up every little piece of this in a multi-character thing on the characters, and then modify it like every time you change the audio file or what, that's like a very Unity game engine way of doing it. That's going to be horrible. Okay, so when oh, it's warrior and wizard first. Wait, I wrote that for warrior thief. Okay, I didn't even do the right thing. We can do it on this one though, because this one has these three characters, right? So this one we can do that. And then the thief and druid, but this hero's first meet, like I was thinking about this level, but this level is a lot later. This level's a lot later. So we're not going to use that one. It's fine because all we really need to test the thing is one or maybe two instances of multi-character, and we have those here. So now the thief and druid one, that's like in Heroes 3 somewhere. That's here. Okay, so what happens? Oh, you know what? We might not have restarted. So like I said, I don't think we hot load this right now. Which we should, but that was not, like I don't like to derail what I'm doing when I'm doing stuff. I'm free. Finally. So our speaking counter still works.
Hecka yeah.
Hecka. I mean, sure. Yeah, so you'll see the number up there changes. It's 117, right?
Hecka yeah.
And then it goes 119. Hecka. I mean, sure. Okay. Which is great. So now all we got to do is draw a visual indicator on the characters. And then we're kind of done. All right. For now, with that feature. So first thing we're going to do is we're just going to draw a quad over their head. Let's go test the other level, but we'll come back to this one, for example. Well, maybe both. So this one is Heroes 3:10, And then the other level that we have a VO in with multi-character is somewhere here. We'll find it. There. It appears we're on the same team this time. 110? Hecka yeah.
'Hecka yeah.
Wait, 140, right? It appears we're on the same team this time. Hecka yeah.
'Hecka yeah.
140. Okay. 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 So, okay, what level is this? Just so we can... Heroes 120. Just gonna have that there. So now we're just gonna draw a quad on top of whoever's speaking. And this is one of these things where it's like, okay, we want a continuous notion of who is speaking, and maybe there's going to be some kind of graphical effect there. Do we put that on the entity? Do we just have it be a separate system that is, run by the game? And there are advantages and disadvantages to both of these. If we put it on the entity, it's very easy to have that be in the undo state, right? So like if you undo to the middle of a move where a dude was talking, should his like little dialogue box be at full opacity, or should it like fade in as if he was speaking anew? And I think it should be at full opacity. That said, there are other ways to do that that would be fine. Like, hey, if you undo and somebody's already speaking, you just set it to full opacity. So, I kind of don't know. It's definitely the most lazy butt thing to do to put it on the entity. But I feel that I don't want to do it that way. Even though it's a little more work to do it the other way, I would prefer to do it that way. Okay, doesn't matter. We're going to actually make a whole new file for this, by the way. Because right now this is in story. We're going to have a thing called speaking. No, you know what? There's not that much here. We'll leave it here. Okay. So this draw character speech bubbles, instead of this, it's going to like just draw a box on the character. And I guess for now, the way that we're doing it, there's only one speaker at a time. I think that's fine. Okay. Do I know about that fan channel? They ran into some sponsors and are feeling a bit iffy about it since a lot of the content do I endorse or not endorse? I don't know, man. I'm planning also for dialogue animations. Like the thing you have to realize is this stuff, we don't want to stop you from playing the game while these are playing. So if the characters talk, it would be like we might animate their face or something, but we need to let you move them around and whatever. Okay. So, yeah, let's just do this right now. There's one speaking at a time. We're just going to draw a quad. Now, I do believe that I have this function to get a position above a character's head in one of the HUD files. Yeah, so I think we just say txty is get text positions speaking and then this frickin' thing. Like, why are we passing a fucking viewpoint parameter? That's nutballs. You just can't expect everybody who ever draws anything to take an explicit viewpoint parameter. That's just banana cakes. I don't know why we did that. Okay, and then so here we're saying minus 0.5, minus 0.50. Okay, yeah, so we actually want 0, 0, and we want it above their head, like let's say 1.5. We'll just find out what that is, right? And I'm going to say we're just going to draw text instead of a quad. Why? Because I don't know. It's very easy. Although by the time I finished typing all this stuff, maybe it wasn't that easy. Because we're going to delete it all anyway. Views. Oh, god damn it. So now I'm like, how the fuck do I get this viewpoint pointer, which has nothing to do. This is what's bad about programming, right? This has literally nothing to do with what I'm trying to do. It's just the code is forcing me to do this. And I don't care about, I just want whatever the camera is, man. And like, now it's like, fuck. I have to stop what I'm doing and figure out something about, is this information even available, or is it trying to be kept as a local variable? Render main game frame. This is like when you know that things need to be cleaned up a little bit, is when you start seeing this. Render frame. Is that a global? Render frame. No, it's a fucking local variable. Fuck you. Yeah, this was, okay. This was something that happened a while back that was bad. And it should be in the context, probably, but like when this was being programmed, people weren't thinking about that kind of thing. And so a bunch of stuff happened where a bunch of parameters were explicitly propagated around the code and made it a lot messier than it should be. And just more annoying to call functions. And I went back a while ago and added some of that stuff to the context and removed all those parameters. But apparently not all of them. This is one that I wasn't thinking about. So like, anytime, okay, I feel like it's not actually true. I feel like there's a way to draw 2D stuff. Because for example, when I say draw text, we don't pass that viewpoint parameter. So where does it, how does it do it? Oh, the viewpoint isn't for the, right, it's not for the text, it's for this fucking guy. Okay, but when we draw guys, okay, we pass the fucking viewpoint explicitly. Do we maybe get this from somewhere? Oh, we do. Oh, no, we make an entire new one. Oh my God. I'm kind of having an aneurysm here. Like, the problem is this just makes it, oh, this is a different, sorry, this is a different render step. So I'm not having an aneurysm about that. That is what I would expect. So wait, nobody, nobody uses that. I hope you guys see this has absolutely nothing with what I'm trying to work on. And when you see this, it's a sign that like, okay, we need to pay off some technical debt that's been introduced. And it's important to pay that off because you don't want, it's like a very classic failure of game development to have this kind of thing happen. And you want to minimize it because you want people to be able to be effective and do what they're trying to do, right? And like, I just, right? So now I'm just looking randomly in the entity draw code, trying to figure out how I mean, maybe I can use this world to proj matrix variable, maybe not. I'm just going to try using it. So like, if you're doing a multi-threaded renderer and stuff, you don't want to have a global with information like this. So it's good design to not have that. But apparently that wasn't even completed because some code maybe uses it. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know. But to the extent that you go through and do that, you still need to make it, you still need to make it reasonable and easy. I think that's called font effect flags. You need to make it reasonable and easy to do something very basic like what's the, like you have to not have a parameter be passed frickin' everywhere in order to know what's the transform of the entity, right? Or of the camera for the current frame. That's like applies to so much code that if you had to pass that everywhere, people would go insane. Okay, I didn't do the font. This is why it's sort of goofy for me to do text here because like now it's like are these things even initialized? All right. When do you minimize it during digressions like these? I wouldn't do it right now because I'm trying to literally do this functionality for today. My deadline on this is today. Okay, so that is not working. It's weird because it's giving me it's giving me non-zero results, but not that non-zero. God, I'm so pissed off right now. All right. So there's probably maybe a simple answer. I'm going to do something really highly offensive. And I'm going to do the following thing. And I'm going to make a note to people that this is not good. So when we say okay, where does render frame come from? Okay. Okay, so that's going to be set. And I'm going to go here. And we're going to get this. So the reason why I'm not doing an actual design where I put this in the context and all that is I want to talk to other people on the team and say, is this like where, because we have some idea of where we're trying to take the engine in the future. And so I don't want to inadvertently do things that are counter to that direction. And so what'll happen is, yeah, we'll just talk about it and make sure that this makes sense and is what we want. I think it is. I think it makes sense. Anyway, so eventually this won't be a global. It'll be in this language feature thing called the context, right? But for now, we're going to do this. And this still may not give us the right value for all I know, but hopefully it will. Current view IDX. I don't even know. I don't even know what that is. Frame. Okay.
Hecka yeah.
Oh my God. Now we have insanely terrible results. That is awful. That is beyond Thunderdome. I might just give up. I might just give up and pass the fucking viewpoint. Because we have it right here. This is the thing. All right. I'm actually going to email. I'm going to delegate this to somebody else. I'm just going to I didn't realize that we actually had it one function away. So we're just going to do this, even though I hate it. All right. So we're going to do that. And then how do I know what that is? So So when we say get text position, we just say 0 for some reason. Why, I don't know. All right. Is there anything that's rendered in a way I want that I could copy? That's what I was looking for 20 minutes, right? It's like, and it just derails everything.
Hecka yeah.
There we go.
Okay.
See, we're drawing the text above the characters' heads.
Okay.
Okay, very good. Totally not worth all that. All right, now, let's say B, I'm just making up a variable, cast float. So we have context.current window. All right. So we're going to say, well, we have immediate quad, right? We're going to say no texture yet. We're going to do this. We're going to say color is vector 4, 1, 1, 1, 1. We're going to begin. Oh, you know what? We'll do that. Okay, fine. Oops. This is a little bit verbose to do all this and then this, like we probably should do both of those. But I don't totally care because this is a temporary thing anyway.
Hecka yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
All right. So now we could like blink it or something. This is going to be alpha. Oh, sorry, rate. Alpha, or cosine now times rate. Rate is 6. Now is, I don't know. That's fine. UI time. Oops. So we do this. Now we have this oscillator value. Actually, we want sine. And then we'll say pow point 0.1. We're just going to extremely like shove it upward. We're going to absolute value it and shove it up. So we're going to get like a blinky blink. I don't know. Whoops. Abs. Not sign. Color. So K is a...
Hecka yeah.
Okay. That's actually way too... way too opaque.
Hecka yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay. And way too fast. You got to remember, this is like doubled. And also, I don't know. Like, guys, if you're here on this channel saying, is this not the cheapest or fastest way to make games? It's not the fucking cheapest and fastest way to make games. But it is the way to make the best games. It is the way to have the most interesting time programming. And it is the way to leave a legacy that will last the longest time. And it is the way to try and fucking save programming from the horrible state that it's in. So, like, if you misunderstand the objectives that are being undertaken here, then of course, I mean, sure, why don't we just use Unity? And then our game can be like every other Unity game. Who wouldn't want to make the average Unity game engine game, right? Like, most importantly, it's the way I wanted to do it. Yes, that's true. Although sometimes other people wish I didn't do it this way. But yeah, it's also true that once this technical foundation is laid down, we will use it over the course of a number of games. And so we are paying the maximum cost up front. But yeah, we're not, like, if you want to make a poopy Unity game that sucks and nobody will care about, there are plenty of Twitch channels you can go to find out how to do that. You don't need to come here. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Plenty of places to go for that. Okay. So this is pretty good. I think we're getting to the end.
Sure.
Now I want this, instead of a square, to be more like a little dialogue box. So I think we're going to offset it to the right. Let's just do that. So,
Hecka yeah.
that's not enough. Okay. Well, it's weird because it depends on the camera position and stuff.
Hecka yeah.
But this is fine for now. Like, the thing is, we could actually look up where the head bone is, right? and locate it based on that. Like this guy's kind of more hunched over, and the thief isn't, and so it kind of comes up in a different place relative to the head. But I'm not concerned with that right now because this is not necessarily going to be the final thing that we do anyway. I just want some indicator that makes it clear that this character is speaking, and this already does that, but we can go
Okay, yeah.
one extra little step. So let's see, is there any public domain speech bubble bitmap? We don't, like, I want something that is kind of straightforward and not that. It doesn't say wow. How about texture map? Okay, this is apparently a really difficult search. Okay, this is maybe totally fine. The Icelandics know how to do it. Free transparent image. Okay, I bet they're going to make me pay $1 zillion to sign it. Oh, look at this. We could have this guy in our game. Get down. Uh-oh, I don't. Non-commercial use. I mean, we're going to cut this from the game. Okay, this is fucking. I have no idea what's going on. It's weird. Like, is it commercial use if we're eventually going to release the game? Maybe it is, right? Like, I don't want to risk it. So maybe I make my own in Photoshop. I don't know. Creative Commons. See, these are a little just too nutty for me. PowerPoint templates. I want texture map. Like, Google search is so bad now. It used to be so much better. Wikimedia Commons bubble.svg. I mean, this is, we're just going to make our own. Just going to make our own. Do I not have Photoshop on here? Affinity. I don't have Affinity Photo on here, and I don't have Photoshop. Wait, that's not right. I have one or the other of those programs on this computer. What is going on? There's no possible way that I don't. All right, I'm going to whip out my laptop for a second and make an amazing speech bubble. You know what actually we could do even before that? Is really, we could just draw any bitmap that the game already knows about and get that working, right? So, wait, did I add this to source control? I think I did. Yeah. Okay. Bitmaps. So, I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Could use keyboard key. All right, so right, in character switch, for example. I just want to make sure because some conventions around rendering maybe change. All right, so here we say shader, we say set texture on that to be keyboard key. And we're going to draw it again, like that is probably literally everything. Wait, what is map? Oh, right, sorry. All right.
Hecka yeah.
Okay, that didn't work. Did it have to do with load? It loaded and compressed the bitmap. Maybe we don't actually use that bitmap, and so it's like not correct somehow. Let's just try a different one. Let's do one that we know that we use. Like all these ones. Let's do UI elevator up. UI elevator up. Do I have to provide UV coordinates? You are correct, I do. That's the problem.
Hecka yeah.
That is the problem. Thank you. Thank you, like I do here. All right. Like we have functions that don't need that, but actually, like if we were using the simp ones, we would get good default UVs. For this one, I don't actually know. Oh, it's this I am draw quad shit, which I hate. That's a function I wish weren't there. All right. All right.
Hecka yeah.
Still not working. Hecka. Why not? Oh, because I spelled that wrong. I said text. Now that should pop a big red error up on the screen. I'm just used to typing the word text, right? So like it just comes out of my hand.
Hecka
Hey, there we go. Hecka. Let's switch that back to keyboard key just for moral victory for a second. This is something that looks the most. Why am I not on software and game? What category am I on? Science and technology. I don't know, dude. Whatever. There's just too many things to think about. Okay. I mean, sure. Okay. Okay. I'm literally going to start with that bitmap and just modify it a little bit, because that bitmap is mostly fine. I'm going to go into Photoshop. I'm going to stretch it. Oh, by the way, so we're going to call it something. And we're going to pre-register this texture. Speech balloon. And then while that's there, we're going to go back here and we're going to change that bitmap. And that way, we make sure that we are using the same string. That manifest file that I just edited is like, what do we pack into the packaged version of the game? All right. So now, here, I have Photoshop. I thought I had Affinity Photo on this machine. Didn't I? Haven't I done stuff in Affinity Photo on stream since I moved? Did hackers sneak in and delete my Affinity Photo? What's going on? Affinity. Did Xi Jinping say you haven't paid your Affinity? Dude, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. All right. So way off on the laptop where you can't see, I'm going to that keyboard key bitmap. Here. I'm dragging it into Photoshop. I'm going to stretch it. What's a good aspect ratio, right? 4:3 maybe, right? What the fuck? How did they break Photoshop this badly? All right, so 64 times 3 is 192. No. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to zoom in. Now I'm going to canvas size to 256 by 256, like that. And then I'm going to take the brush I'm going to make a new little layer. How do I make a new layer? Plus, oh yeah. Plus, so I'm going to take a little brush and I'm going to draw I'm going to alt-click to get the color. I'm drawing a little horn dogger here. And I'm going to make it a little sharper image. And then I'm going to go to the under layer and this is going to be a little sloppy, okay? Wish you guys could see this. It's totally awesome. Believe you me. It is totally awesome. All right. It is not gimpy and horrible looking at all. It is amazing. Okay. So now I'm going to save this as, oh no, I need to I need to flatten, file, export, quick export as PNG to what's it called? Speech balloon.png. And then add to the source control. Commit. Add a temporary bitmap. Okay, that is professional game development. Right there. Check it out, guys. Bitmaps. Speech SS. Speech balloon. Look at that. You can only kind of tell that it's horrible. All right. So, I don't remember if we recompiled here.
Hecka yeah.
Okay. Sure. Okay. All right. It's how you succeed in the games industry, sort of. It appears we're on the same team this time. Hecka yeah.
Hecka yeah.
All right. It appears we're on the same team this time. Hecka yeah.
Hecka yeah.
All right. So that was the goal of the stream, was to just get that implemented and working. And we have done that. We have launched our career as video game voice actors and as Photoshop voice bubble bitmap artists. Sync the blinking with syllables of spoken audio. We probably will do that. If we keep a visual speech indicator like this, I would like it to respond more naturally to speech. But, you know, we would probably generate that based on some process that we don't have implemented right now and don't need for this particular play test. So do I have a no check-in anywhere? We do. Oh, this thing, which we don't need anymore. And then we don't need that anymore. We don't need that anymore. So let's make sure that still works.
Hecka yeah.
Okay. I mean, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all fine for the current build. Oh, you know what? I never put in the workaround for the overworld. So when the character in the overworld reads the story things, it's going to put a speech bubble over her head, and that is wrong. That is wrong. So for now, we're going to work around this by saying
The secrets of this land are
Wait, it
contained
doesn't.
within 4 stories.
to the north.
You'll find to the east.
Oh, because this is happening. Oh, also this begin time is in Apollo time. Yeah, let's make that error message better. Okay, so here, if we're going to say if it is overworld, for now, we're just going to say there isn't dialogue. See, the thing is, the little system for our temporary stand-ins for cutscenes is using all the same stuff as the system for like the character speech. So right now we don't really specify which is which, and so the overworld gets confused. Let me make sure this still works. Wait, what? What? Why did it not? The worst possible thing is if every level is accidentally marked overworld. Where is that? I don't even know. Where is it? Is overworld is on the camera page for some reason. That must be like why we... It is not.
Hecka yeah.
Wait.
Okay. I mean, sure.
Oh, we saved out the file. I hadn't moved the characters, so we saved out the file after this happened.
Hecka yeah.
So this is working. That's all. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
All right.
The secrets of this land are contained within 4
So
stories.
now we are not spewing errors because we're
To the
just
north,
bailing out for
You'll
now.
find the
And then later,
story
if we
of the
want
heroes
this
of
character to
Sokoban,
have
who use their quirky talents
some
to
actual
fight for
dialogue,
good.
we'll just get more specific about how that happens. But
To the
for
south,
right now, that's just not a
Skipping
thing.
Stone.
And that's good. So initial markup and display for multi-character voice over. Boom. There we go. That's been a good stream. I got frustrated due to programming things, but we came out in the end with achievement unlocked. I've been thinking I may want to do a stream later this evening where we update the Bard charm effects a little bit. Because we're doing a new playtest build and it's just nice to do that kind of thing. It's like something that I've been wanting to do forever. So we may do that on another stream today. What's the compilation in terms of lines per second? If it's a debug build, I mean, it varies. The compiler is actually a little bit slower than it has been in a while. So if we ignore the linker, let me just see if that's a typical. The compiler was 1.4, 1.3. We're streaming, so it's slower, right? Let's call it 137, which is about in the middle of these three measurements. You know, what do you count the blank lines? Let's do that, right? 216, 219 divided by 1.37. So we're at about 150,000 lines of code per second right now. Which is not nearly, we were 250,000 at one point, and so we slowed down, but we know that, and we're going to go refactor and get the speed back. So, yeah. Is beta size still growing? Yes. We add new people to the beta all the time. No, there are no incremental builds. This is full rebuild. What caused the slowdown? I'm not completely sure. I think it's the way that I restructured the type checking loop in a way that I thought would be faster, and it wasn't faster. In fact, it was much slower. But before I assume that that was really the cause and reverse that change, I want to at least go in and do some serious profiling and make sure that's the cause and try to understand why. Are we still using telemetry? Yeah, I don't use it that often, but it's still the main profiling tool. What made me go for full clean builds rather than aggressively caching intermediate artifacts? Because aggressively caching intermediate artifacts always has bugs and annoying things about it. And then when you have a problem in your game, you don't know if it's like the more you are confused about what the source of the problem might be, the harder it is to debug. And one very common source of problems is like, oh, the incremental build was wrong for whatever reason. So fuck all that. You have a massive supercomputer on your desk. Why are you fucking around with incremental builds? Firstly. And then secondly, it just increases the variance in how long you can expect compilation to take, which affects the way that you program. So if you're an experienced programmer and you're like, okay, like I'm in C++ and I'm like, okay, I could get an incremental build in 1 minute as long as I don't touch the header file. And it'll take 15 minutes if I do touch the header file. You start programming in ways to avoid touching the header files, which can then make the code messy. And that's bad too. And it's causing you to do things that are not like the problem that you're trying to solve. Like all this is too complicated, right? We need to cut down on the complexity. And one way to cut down on complexity is remove incremental builds because they're stupid. Like, you work with a 700K lines code base that compiles in around 30 minutes. Well, that's not surprising. People were afraid to touch header files. Yeah, no, that totally happens. That totally happens. That is a thing. That is a thing. Okay, well, we got a lot of good stuff done. Thanks everybody. I think we're pretty set. Like we're doing an internal like playtest build of the game that the team will play around with and make sure things are good. And I think we're set for that, hopefully. So that's nice. All right, thank you everybody. See you later. Have a good day. We'll probably do another stream later tonight after I go eat food and be a person for a little bit. See ya.